Just saw this really interesting interview on YouTube with Julian Casablancas of The Strokes about working with Rick Rubin. Thought it had some interesting angles on them disagreeing on the sounds of his vocals. So yeah, check it out and keep watching for my thoughts on the whole idea of working with Rick and working with a producer who is nudging you in directions you might not want to go in.
I feel like the tone of it should be, human and full of emotion and all that, but I do view it as an instrument, and so I always kind of tend to like it more kind of just blended into the painting. And I think Rick Rubin likes vocals super loud and super clean. And that's definitely not my thing, but I mean, we're working with him, and I like to think of myself as relatively open-minded. So, I mean, we tug of war a little bit. I would have probably put it a little lower, but yeah, I mean, we're working with Rick, so I want to respect how he wants to do things.
So that's super interesting. So that's Julian Casablancas from The Strokes, obviously, like talking about the fact that his taste and his preferences in terms of vocal production are to have them sort of blended in with the music, with the band, and using a little bit of distortion and whatever it takes to kind of make that sound tuck into the mix and feel part of the music, which is, I really like that too, actually. I think some of my favourite music has that characteristic, but it's also something that feels more older. Like if you go back to the 90s or before then, guitar music, the tendency was to have the vocal at least sort of sitting in amongst the music, but modern day production definitely, especially like radio and stuff, it is like we want the vocal to be dominant, sitting on the top. And he's saying that, working with Rick Rubin's thing is clear, loud vocal, and that's not what he likes. It's not what he is instinctively wanting to do. He puts it quite nicely, I think, when he say that you have a tug backwards and forwards with someone. That's a gentlemanly way of saying you're having an argument about it in the studio. But he does say but we're working with Rick, so we want to respect what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. So that's the interesting kind of perspective of like a band or an artist going to work with Rick Rubin. It's like you are going to sort of put yourself at the behest of Rick's creative vision for your music, even if it means you might go, actually I prefer it different, but hey, it's all right, that's what Rick wants, that's what we're going to do. Super interesting, and I wonder how that would feel to you if you were making music and you went in and the producer was sort of nudging you in directions you didn't really want to go in, or should a producer go, this is what the artist wants, they don't want to have their vocal really loud and clear, they want to have effects on it, and let's do that. What discussion should take place between a producer and the band or the artist? I can do both, I don't mind doing either when I'm working with someone. If they have no particular preferences, it might just be my tastes and my instincts that decide directions to go, and I can be like, what do you think of this? Do you like this? And if I'm getting, it might be like a straight, okay, let's not do that. But if they're like, yeah, I'm not sure, I could kind of make an argument like, okay, this is a reason why we might want to try this effect or this approach because of X, Y, or Z. They might go, oh yeah, I'm really glad we tried that actually. Or they might still be going, oh no. So a strong no would probably make me think, actually let's just not do that. But I'm not Rick Rubin. I don't have countless massively successful records behind me. But certainly a very interesting thought about how Julian was saying, like, it's not what I would have done, and I don't really know if I fully like it, but hey, this is what Rick wanted, and we're working with Rick. That's the decision we've made. So because we've made that decision, we are going to respect what Rick wants for the record. And actually that kind of shows a level of maturity about their own material and about their own relationship to what they're doing. They're probably less precious at this point in their career. They're probably also open to the fact that when the record's out in the world, they may never really be actually listened to it that much. You hear these stories of like well-known artists or bands who don't really listen to their material. It's out in the world and then they're not really engaged with it after that. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they just don't really have that necessity for their album to sound exactly like they want. It's more about how well it's going to be in the world, and Rick Rubin or a producer maybe has that perspective that Yeah, really interesting. Let me know what you think.